Welcome back into the sports sources. You see there, Tennessee versus Iowa all time. They've met 3 times. Tennessee 2 wins, Iowa 1. All 3 times have been kind of special occasions, as will tomorrow's Citrus Bowl. Tennessee beat Iowa in the '87 Kickoff Classic to start the season in East Rutherford, New Jersey. That game beat them by a point, 23-22. That game remembered by for Darren Miller returning an in-air fumble about 80 yards or 90 yards for a touchdown. Tennessee also beat Iowa 45-28 in the 2015 Tax Slayer Bowl, back when everyone thought Butch Jones had this program on the rise. And then Iowa, their lone win against Tennessee came the first meeting. Chuck Long quarterbacked the Hawkeyes to a 28-22 win at Old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in the '82 Peach Bowl. This Citrus Bowl fact brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Trust your home or office to the folks who protect my home. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, back with Chuck, Will, Josh. Quarterback Deacon Hill took over for an injured Cade McNamara, and he's completed just 49% of his passes. He has 6 interceptions against 5 touchdowns. As good as Iowa's defense is, Iowa's offense is just as bad on the other side. They are terrible on offense. Iowa ranks at number 133 out of 133 teams in total offense. They are 20 yards behind number 132. So it's like 131, 132, 133. So bang the mic. Apologies for blowing out your speakers on your television. They are number 130 out of 133 in scoring offense at 16.6 points per game. Josh, will Iowa be able to put enough points on the board to win their 11th game of the year? So as bad as that offense is, they're going for win number 11.
Surely not. Surely not. That's why we talk about what is Tennessee's goal. If they can hit a certain number where they should feel good, and we can even leave that number in the teens, that speaks volumes to what Iowa's offensive issues have been. Ricky Gibson's played a little bit, not much, this season as a freshman corner. We'll see it at Star. You have Jordan Thomas, who's played some. He's been in the program a couple years. Will Brooks started against Vanderbilt. And you might think, well, that still doesn't feel like high-level SEC play, at least not yet. Well, neither is Iowa's offense. So that's what makes you feel good. And then Tyler Barron can be replaced by the depth of defensive linemen that has been productive. I think Tennessee's defense will be fine against Iowa. There will probably be some mistakes in Tennessee's secondary. I think the coaching staff should anticipate that. I also don't know if Iowa can take advantage even if mistakes are made by Tennessee's secondary.
Yeah, I don't think Iowa can. And it's weird because a defensive team like this with an old head coach like Kirk Ferentz, you think they're going to pound the rock, they want to control the ball, they want to keep you from having possession of the ball. No, they don't. They don't run the ball well at all. They throw the ball. You mentioned those stats.
They don't do anything well.
They don't really do anything well at all. They just 3 yards and, 3 down, 6 yards, punt the football, that's it. And then their defense, can they get a play from defense or special teams? Tennessee does a good job on special teams. So I do think if Tennessee gets to 13, I think they win because I don't think Iowa can get to 13 points here. They're also poorly coached on top of that because you have the coach's son as the OC who's terrible at what he does.
Yeah, he's on his way out.
He's on his way out.
This is a win-1 for the sucky offensive coordinator.
Yes. So look, they have bad players, but on the upside, their coach is terrible too. So I do think if Tennessee gets to 13, I think this game is over because I don't think Iowa can.
That's a little harsh, Will. Just because they're 133 and 130 in all the stats. To say, Chuck, can Iowa move the ball on Tennessee?
Well, you don't think so, but if they flip the script and can run the ball, then they're going to win the game. To me, in their 10 wins, I looked it up, they averaged like 144 yards rushing. That surprised me. 3 losses, they averaged 22. So if they can run the ball, then Tennessee's going to have their hands full. But what I like about this, John, it's a very, very, very one-dimensional offense. Tennessee can line up with that, right? We've seen them have trouble with the RPO. The quarterback, Deacon Hill, very lazy with his footwork, slow to drop back. He can't throw it. Didn't seem like more than 20 yards. So Tennessee.
Now, I've read some reports out of there. I haven't seen the kid play much, but I've read reports that say he's got a strong arm.
Well, I mean, I looked at 3 games. I didn't see that. They throw a lot to the sideline. So I think it's the one-dimensional type quarterback that Tennessee can just get after, kind of like the Clemson game last year. You didn't have to really respect the run as much. This, I don't think you respected at all from the quarterback.
Tennessee pretty aggressive on the front there. A lot of tackles for loss, a lot of sacks, all 3 years for Tennessee so far under this coaching staff. My only concern is, if you're doing some run blitzes and you bust.
Then you miss.
You
yeah.
bust. I
Or if
just
they run
wonder-
a counter and your
Yeah.
safeties start running after the eye candy, that's
And
a concern
like-
Do
as
they
well.
eat you up with a screen at some point or something? It's
With-
just going to be that kind of a game. I don't see them being able to march down the field on you.
No.
I don't see them putting a 12-play drive together. There's going to have to be, oh gosh, we completely whiffed on a tackle,
Right.
or we blitzed in the wrong direction. The guy went right by it. There's got to be
Right.
some sort of screw up for Iowa to make big gains here.
Well, and the thing there too is that could happen, but it's not a momentum offense. So if they pick up a 15 to 25-yard play, can they do it again? Because you still have to
Yeah,
do
it needs to be an 80-yard play.
Yeah,
It's
it's
go all
got to
the
go all the
way.
way, and that's difficult to predict. So you can even allow some mistakes against this Iowa offense and have a chance to catch back up.
I think this is a game because we've seen Tennessee at times defensively, if they couldn't get there with 4, they got lit up like a Christmas tree in the back 7, right? I don't think Iowa can do that in this game. I just don't think they're good enough at throwing the football. Here's my concern. They go to that dopey 3-3 stack that Tim Banks tried to run against Missouri and a couple of other times, and you don't use the strength of your defensive line versus their offensive line, and you're counting on young linebackers to not run over the top and to go make plays and to hit guys in the hole. And we saw in that Missouri game they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and tackling's always a concern when you've had a month layoff or more, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's always like number one on the list of a lot of defensive coaches.
Well, and again, we don't know how these young DBs are going to tackle it.
Exactly.
That's
That's
one
what
thing.
I
How are
was
they going to
wondering.
cover? Well, their quarterback can't take advantage. How well do these guys tackle? We haven't
Yeah.
seen a lot of them, so we'll see. All right, when we come back, who's Iowa played? I've heard that all week about this defense. They hadn't played anybody. Is that true? Did some numbers. We'll give you some interesting facts next. How much should we be looking at Iowa and saying, they're all schedule, man. It's all smoke and mirrors. Don't buy it. We'll tell you. Come on back on the Sports Source.